Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to part 2 of the Rapture. So I've been discussing the Rapture and I think it's a very important conversation. As I was saying in the previous video, that this whole experience is something I understand spiritually and is something I went through. But obviously we were not talking about the Rapture. I was talking in relation to my spiritual journey within the Adventist church, to the point where I was raised as an outcast within the Adventist church. So when people would formally stand up to pray, the scripture alongside Ellen G. White's writings, we will kneel down on our knees to pray. To the point, the extreme version of this happening is that my uncle got kicked out of the church, or was asked by ministers and pastors. They're not asking anyone else to kneel. And they're using scriptures like Psalms 95, bow down and worship, and other scriptures to validate the kneeling down to pray and to worship and to talk to God. And which brought me to later in my years, I think I was now in university, when I was trying to understand that how the Muslims and Islam was able to worship God on their knees as a natural expression of adorance and respect, and to the point where I started reading the Quran in trying to understand that how come my faith is not accepting of just me reverencing God with my own knees, not your own, not making everyone to kneel, but worshiping God in spirit and in truth. Ideally, that was my belief at the time. And in that instance, I was so strong-minded. I remember I would go to Wednesday prayer meetings in Ladywood Church in Birmingham. And this is 2006, 2007, and 2008. And during that time, obviously, I met friends and so forth. I was vegetarian because my spiritual journey, as I said, the Adventist, also believing Ellen G. White was a prophet, encompassed that I should abstain from eating meat, because if I eat meat, I'll be separated from God's people. Do you understand where this is going? My diet was dictated by a dead woman who, at the time, I believed was a prophet. These people have not harmed anyone. They have just said that there is a rapture, and they've believed, and they then moved. That caused them to move in the physical realm, which is where we all are, and said that there is a rapture appearing. So in this instance, I empathize with these people. I have no interest in laughing. I have no interest, because I understand they love God. Their dedication to the Creator, their dedication to the Almighty. And in doing that is an ultimate sacrifice. Yes, it did not happen. But one day they might actually say that, and something may happen. Well, I'm okay with going. If there is a hell, I'm okay today in going there. But what I will do is I will live this life according to how I feel. And I'm going to trust that my judgment and my path in this life, if I'm supposed to be somewhere, but guess what? Wherever I'm supposed to be is not part of any church organization, any religious body, or any religious organization. It's just going to be me. It does not disallow that I will not read scriptures, because they are wisdom. There are words and wisdom in there that can be applied whether or you're practicing Christianity or not. It's a book to read, and I advise everybody and anybody of any faith to always be informed, just like we read books in general, and the Bible is a book. Read it. So is the Quran. Read it respectfully, and so that you're informed. Even if you're rejecting something, you need to be informed to know that it's not for you. So back at this story. So in their journey, they have fought They have fought family, I'm sure, to stand on business, to say this is it. We were isolated within the church. We were isolated within the um the family, because we did not eat meat. So my dad would not allow any family members that ate meat to be part of the family, to the point where even my grandmother, at one point, she did not eat meat when she would come to visit. So if she's visiting for 3 months, those 3 months there is vegetarian food. So we're eating corn products, mushrooms, all vegetables, pastas, gluten, starchy foods. I can cook vegetarian food. I will explain where I am now, so stay in touch. All of these things made us an island. I remember I made friends, but I would shift with friendships because they were not aligned with my spiritual journey. Are you hearing how isolating this is? It's not someone saying, okay, you can't be friends. Because my dad would then say, okay, if your friends, oh, they need to come here. Yes, there's Christians, but they need to come here. We need to do a Bible study, because he's filtering even my friends. The strange thing, he never did that with my brother's friends, but it was always my friends that he wanted to impart this spiritual knowledge. And it was my university that my dad would come with Ellen G. White's writing, Spiritual Prophets 1, 2, 3, going forward, and studying the great controversy, studying the sanctuary. And all this information is inside me. I had to detox all of this to be where I am. But when I'm seeing people talking about the rapture and the love of they have for what they are saying, I don't feel sorry for them. I just love that they have that kind of belief. It's a beautiful, orgasmic feeling. However, it's okay to get it wrong. And it's okay not to understand, because sometimes I do believe that we have spiritual awakenings that are individual and they're just our based, and that's okay. And we need to know the difference with a message for yourself and a message for others. When it comes to rapture, it could also be a removal. And when I'm talking about the rapture, there was a removal of something, maybe in his life, maybe he was being prophesied about how he's going to misinterpret scriptures. Let's be honest, these same scriptures have been misunderstood for years, to the point where Isaiah thought the coming of Christ probably was sooner rather than later. That even during the evolution, even when the Christ eventually came, that people also did not see it. But when Isaiah first spoke about it, they believed. By the time they then spoke about it, they didn't believe. That's why Christ was therefore murdered by the Jews. And that's it. That's just scriptures on its own. So, waiting for part 3, where I will explain why I have this thinking.